Okay, in this video, we're going to look at radicals in a different light than what you may have seen before. The radical symbol means division for exponents. And that really comes in handy when you're looking at complicated problems like the one I have on the board. On the board I have the fourth root of 768, x to the 14th, y to the 16th, z to the 30th. Okay? Now, what I want you to do is break everything down into its prime factorization. Because our index is 4, we want all our exponents to be divisible by 4 or smaller than 4. Remember, radical symbols means division for exponents, and sometimes you can't make it go away completely. Sometimes the best you can do is to make it go away on some of the part of the problem. All right? So the first thing we need is the prime factorization of 768. Well, when I look at 768, and I may have taken a long way around the bush here, y'all might see a quicker way, but however you get there is fine. But when I look at 768, the first thing I notice is it's even. Since it's even, I can divide it by 2. So when I divide 768 by 2, I get 384. And once again, 384 is even, so I divide by 2 again. 384 divided by 2 is 192. 192, still even. Divide by 2 yet again. And I get 96. Well, now we're getting it down more manageable. 96, I can divide it by 2. 2 times 48 gives me 96. Well, 48 is pretty easy to see that it's 6 times 8. And 6 is 2 times 3. 8, we know that to be 2 cubed. So the prime factorization of 768, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 3 more gives me 8 2's. So it's going to be 2 to the 8th. And then I have a factor of 3. So the prime factorization of 768 is 2 to the 8 times 3. Okay? Now, I want to get this radical all prepped and ready, which means I need to get all the exponents divisible by 4 or smaller than 4. Okay? So, I have the fourth root, 768, 2 to the 8th. I can divide 8 by 4 and come out even, so I'm good there. 3 has an exponent of 1, which is smaller than 4. I'm good with that. Now we start on the letters or the variables. X to the 14th. I can't divide 14 by 4 and come out even, but I can write x to the 14th as x to the 12th times x squared. I can divide 12 by 4, and 2 is smaller than 4, so that's what I want to do. Now 16, I can divide that by 4, so I don't have to do anything in that. So I just rewrite y to the 16th. 30, do the same trick I used with the x. 30, the biggest factor of 4, or the biggest thing I can get in there that I can divide by 4 is 28. So I'm going to write z to the 28th times z squared. That's still z to the 30th. Just like this is still x to the 14th. We're just writing it a little bit easier to see. Now we're ready to start making this radical symbol go away. So we're going to have the fourth root. Now 2 to the 8th. Well, 8 divided by 4 is 2. The base stays the same, so 8 divided by 4 is 2. A 2 squared comes out. 3 stays in. 12. 12 divided by 4 is 3, so x cubed comes out. X squared is going to stay in. 16. Well, 16 divided by 4 is 4, so y to the 4th comes out. Then I'm looking at z to the 28th. Well, 28 divided by 4 is 7, so z to the 7th comes out. But the z squared stays in. So that is basically my final answer. I want to make it look a little bit prettier, and I'll talk about assuming variables are positive or negative in a minute. But normally you would write this as 4x cubed, y to the 4th, z to the 7th times the fourth root of 3x squared, z squared. And for me, on my exams and quizzes, we assume that all variables are positive. However, in the software, you don't have that assumption. In the software, sometimes they don't give you the words, assume all variables are positive. And if you don't have the words on your problem that say assume all variables are positive, you type this in, you're going to get a strike. Why? Because you have to take into account the things that could be negative. So, if all variables are not positive, or if, let's just write it this way, if variables could be negative, we have to guarantee that we get a non-negative answer because we're dealing with a fourth root. If you're dealing with an odd index, you don't have to worry about that. But since we're dealing with a fourth root here, we have to worry about what could be negative. Now in this example, what could be negative? Well, 4 is just a number. We don't have to worry about it. X cubed, that could be negative because that exponent is an odd power. Okay? Y to the fourth, well 4 is even. Even if y was a negative number, when I raise it to the fourth power, it's going to make it positive. So I don't have to worry about that. And then z to the seventh. Well, 7 is odd, so we have to worry about it. So the way I would write that answer, remember, what makes negative stuff positive? Absolute value. So this is going to be 4y to the fourth, then the absolute value of x cubed, z to the seventh, that whole mass times the fourth root of 3x squared z squared. Okay? And if we don't have the fact that all variables could be positive, that would be our final answer. All right? So, I hope this helps. I hope you get through this unit without any trouble. Good luck. Go do some math.